Hello and welcome back to Shite Talk, an Irish history podcast. My name's Kevin Larney and it's good to be back. Back to regular episodes. No more birdie stuff, just good old classic season 2 episodes. This one's about W.B. Yeats. Everyone knows his name. I feel like people don't really know a lot of his early years, his wizard years. I will say we did kind of do him dirty with we don't, I think, mention his poetry at all. We didn't. We recorded like 3 hours talking about the man, barely mentioned any of his work. He's a good poet, but if you want to go listen to how good of a poet he is, I'm sure there's lots of other podcasts that'll talk about the pros and cons of his writing. This is the sort of podcast that just focuses on the weird wizard shit that he was up to. And we did it all with Shannon Basso Gaule, who's a very good comic and a nice man. So you should go follow him, check him out, see what he's up to. He was the last guest I think we recorded in the old studio setup, by which I mean just old room. And now we have a new setup. It looks better than before. You can see what it looks like. You can go onto Instagram and YouTube, maybe TikTok, and you'd see our faces as well as the very nice studio that we've painted. But the most important thing, if you're going to do anything for us, if the most important thing you can do at this juncture is go buy a ticket to see us live in the Laughter Lounge in January 2025. Only a mere couple of weeks away, we'll be doing a live show in Dublin. So if you like this podcast, come and see us live. Be good crack. You'll have a nice time. But before that, enjoy this episode, the first episode of the season. We did this episode as a live episode actually years ago. So long ago that we felt it was time to rehash it. We'd forgotten the details, so I'm sure you had as well. I don't even know if it's on the main feed. It might be on the Patreon feed, which is also exists. So, just keep that in mind. But we had a fun time re-recording it. But anyway, here's the 8th episode. It's good to be back, and we'll just jump on.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, all in search of a glory. The history and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall. Follow me now as we go back in time. We trace the steps of Irish heritage to find. Joseph from Carlisle and Catherine from Dawn, guide you through the ways of Shite.
William Butler Yeats was born in Sandymount in County Dublin on the 13th of June 1865. Do you know much about Yeats?
I know he's buried in Sligo. Is that true? Actually, I might have made that up.
Oh,
Let's-
Wakely tells you. He loves telling this.
Yeah. No,
No, okay.
We'll do that at the end.
Okay,
But I don't think so.
he won the Nobel. He's the first Irish person to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah,
Okay.
is that not? He won something with the
Yeah.
Nobel on it,
Yeah.
and it was 100 years ago last year.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, that's not too bad. He was a senator.
Yeah.
He's Protestant.
So you do know a good bit about him.
There are 4 things I know.
That's pretty good, though.
And what
He's a
else?
poet as well.
He's a poet. His wife's name is George.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, we'll get in terms of him and his history with women. The fact that
He
he
loved
was
his
married
sisters.
George. That's probably
Least.
of it.
I can respect that as a man called Shannon. So
Yeah.
that's okay.
There you go. That's a good name for your hour. A man called Shannon.
A man called Shannon.
Yeah.
That's better than what I've called it. To be fair.
Is it too late?
It's too late. Probably not. No,
Email everyone on the mailing list.
they won't care.
Yeah.
They won't know.
Anyway, well, that's good. That's a good starting knowledge for him. But so he's from a very Anglo-Irish Protestant ascendancy family. His dad's called John Butler Yeats. He's descended from a Williamite soldier who had obviously taken a fancy to the country when he was over here, pillaging the place. So they settled down. The butler came from his great-great-grandmother, Mary Butler, who was descendant of an illegitimate brother of some earl or another. And his mother, Susan Mary Pollexfen,
Wow, that's a
came
great name.
from a wealthy merchant family in Sligo. So young William spends a lot of his childhood at the Pollux Fen ancestral home in Merville, Sligo.
That doesn't even sound like it's in Sligo.
No, it doesn't, to be honest. It doesn't really sound like a place you want to spend the summer either.
No. There's a lot of like sideways riding with a lot of different military people, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going on already.
Yeah, like he's from not good stock. What would have been seen at the time to be good stock, but very.
But they changed very quickly, didn't
just
they?
very West Brit stock. I would
Okay.
say.
All right.
So when Susan marries John, so when his parents get married, John had been studying law, but before they get married, he quits to become an artist.
Oh,
Uh,
that's not a great thing.
Sorry, it's actually just after they get married, he quits to become an artist.
That's nasty.
No, and
You
I had
shouldn't do that.
written a note in here because I think this originally when we did this episode, I just quit my job. It's just
Oh,
like, imagine going out, getting into a relationship with a fella for a couple of years, and he's got a steady paid salary.
Yeah.
And then he fucks it all up.
That's pretty much what I did to my wife. As
Yeah,
well. To be fair,
exactly.
me and John might be.
We're in good company.
Yeah, we and him are in good company.
Yeah, Susan's not too happy about it.
No, yeah, I think it's between every good artist is a woman with a good job and a forgiving heart.
Yeah. And behind every bad artist is the same thing,
It's the same
but sadder.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't give him a second chance.
Yeah.
Or third or fourth. I also know he's bad with money. Am I ruining the story? But I heard he's bad with money as well.
John's bad with money.
Yeah, I heard he's not great with money.
Well, he's made a horrible decision here in leaving his law job to become an artist.
But he pursued the arts, and without that, would we have our WB?
That's true.
Yeah, but
or the brother.
alternatively, you could do what I tell everyone who's like, "What? I want to go full time at comedy." It's like, don't keep your job until they just sack you. Just turn
Yeah.
up and just work on comedy, whatever art you want to pursue.
Very hard to get sacked in Ireland, though.
Exactly. So then
That's
just
true.
turn up for your job 9 to 5 as an artist. Just work on your art, and then eventually they'll sack you. But
Yeah.
they won't if it's a civil service job. So you keep a
okay.
They basically can't do
pensionable
it.
salary.
Yeah.
Loads of time keeps you on it. Because if you're an artist living at home, you won't get up 9 to 5 and do the work.
No.
No.
Do that in the government salary.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a job interview next week, so can we not? Can we not
Obviously,
leave this
you
next
shouldn't
week?
do that. But
I
you
should.
know, in
I
general.
wouldn't do that. No, never.
But so the whole family moves over to England in 1867 when Yeats was 2 in order for his dad to pursue his artistic career. So
This is getting.
she's back.
What was she doing?
Well, she was looking forward to the easy life.
What did she have to start working?
No, it was the 1860s. I think that was frowned upon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you started
true.
working, that'd lead to a swift.
And she was money anyway.
Yeah, they're all kind of from money, but not enough money to go
leave-
into the arts.
Okay. Yeah.
But they're all fairly wealthy. So Yeats is homeschooled initially before being sent to a real school at the age of 10, where, unlike all those other stories of lads who are homeschooled till 10 and then do really well when they go into regular school, he got bullied. There's always one, I guess. So
It's the one true thing through time.
yeah.
Just the homeschool's not going to work out for you.
No.
Yeah.
Like, it's never.
No, homeschooled by your struggling, failed artist father. But listen, the whole family, they moved back to Dublin in 1880 due to shocking money issues. So Yeats is about 15 at this point.
We've got too much money.
You've got too much money. It was the more common of the money issues where they were broke. So when he's about 17, he starts writing poetry and short stories. And he first gets published in 1885 at the age of 20. So when he's back in Dublin, he goes on for further education at the Metropolitan School of Art on Thomas Street, now better known as NCAD.
Oh,
There you go.
taking a bit of a dive, is it?
Yeah.
Would it? Yeah, that sounded before. What was it called?
The Metropolitan School of Art.
Yeah, that sounds like you'd want to go there.
Yeah. But
National
he,
College of Art and Design.
I know,
NCAD.
NCAD,
That's the problem.
Metropolitan, like that.
That does sound-
That's nice.
yeah.
That's nice.
But I feel like you could drop him into NCAD nowadays, and that, like, on the face of it,
He'd be
he's-
destroyed now, I think.
Well, he's a homeschooled sort of outsider whose father's a struggling artist, but then if you scratch just a little beneath the surface, it turns out he's from a very wealthy family.
Yeah, see, I don't think he'd do. What?
That is everyone in
No,
He's a
I
weird
feel
sex
I
pest
would
with a wealthy
imagine.
family.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
He would definitely be
He's
an alt-right, right-wing commentator online. If that's kind of
that's the path.
that's the path nowadays.
Yeah. But just the idea of, like, I'm seeped in it. I'm just, my father's trying. We're all artists.
We're all artists.
Apart from, everyone else in my family who's very wealthy.
Very wealthy.
Yeah. And so
it's an
therefore,
angsty family, we say.
Was during his time in NCD, he gets introduced to and begins his lifelong fascination with the occult.
Yes, I forgot about this.
Yeah, he fucking loves ghosts.
He's a
and he loves
fucking
fucking
wizard.
ghosts.
Class.
Yeah, he is literally a wizard.
Yeah, this is yeah. Oh, can I hit you with a fact?
Yeah,
or a
go
fun
for
fact?
it. Yeah.
It was kind of inspired by the occult that he created. I think he was maybe the creator of what they called active writing, and it's him and George used to do it. It's like comics, we do free writing, we just write.
Yeah.
But what they do, they'd meditate before writing, and then have a particular thing to write about. Say like if it's like philosophy or a question, and then they would ponder on that for like 15-20 minutes, and if the answer came to them in that meditation, they would only write as if like they were writing like with a Ouija board.
Okay.
So like they were using like that, they were
in
tapping into the occult.
To the occult.
So the spirits would write their thing, and him and George used to write, like he'd write a question for George, and she'd answer it.
Which is bollocks, because that's
it's
just
completely bollocks.
That's just thinking.
It was mainly just like, what are we going to have for dinner? And she'd be like, don't know, what do you want?
What I did was, I thought about what I was going to say, and then I wrote it down.
Some words came to my mind,
when
possibly from another dimension.
Yeah. But in the 1800s, you could. That was next level thinking. Yeah, I think so.
Kevin, what is a thought?
Let's all sit in silence and figure it out.
Shannon, how do you come up with your material?
Yeah. Where do you get jokes from?
I sit in a dark room with a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Drinking pints of vodka, going, the spirits told me. Is that not what we all do?
Yeah.
Or ask people where they're from when they're on set. On stage. Where you're from? I tell you, oh, it was the ghosts. No?
You sit in a trance for 15 minutes and just all that's written on the page is just like, any couples in? How long have you been dating? Oh, you had to look.
Just sit in silence for 15 minutes before it gets too awkward, and then just break the silence. Yeah.
What's your favorite type of electricity?
Yeah. So he loves the occult, right? In 1885, he becomes a founding member of the Dublin Lodge of the Hermetic Society, along with the artist George Russell. And they held the first meeting in June with Yeats as the chairman. So the following year, Yeats attends his first seance. He's ramping up.
Now
that's pronounced Shants.
Shants.
That's
an Irish name.
Is he still in his 20s at this stage? Yeah. He's not being an angsty
Yeah, he's
teen.
20. He's starting to write poetry.
But I think like back then, like you didn't really get like an angsty teenage phase.
No.
In those times. So maybe like that's shit that happened in your like
that was just
early
his life.
20s. You get like 2 years of starting trying to be weird.
Like he couldn't do like the emo thing or goth
Do you
thing.
think? Yeah. Do you think he painted his fingernails? Is what I'm asking.
No, because people probably just think he'd have the plague.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be cool if you're in the occult?
Well, he's going straight into a gothic phase of he's like 21 and trying to talk to the
Do you think he listened to The Clash?
I think so.
Okay.
My Chemical Romance, I think.
Okay, My Chemical Romance. Okay.
Yeah.
My dad left a high-paying job.
He's moved back to Ireland. He's grown up with the sort of post-famine era of the Land League and Gaelic revival of the 1880s, and he's from the sort of Protestant posh side. So he's feeling
conflicted.
No, he's got that sort of like liberal white guilt of,
okay.
He's from money and he wants to be an artist, and he's going through a time when Ireland is changing, and all of a sudden people are like, they're still dealing with the aftermath of the famine.
Yeah.
And they're looking for self-determination. And he's just...
It's funny. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's funny that, like, you see, like, people from Wales now, they go into, like, activism and stuff like that. And his way of
We're
doing
not
that...
all Zionists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
His way of doing that was, like, to get into the occult, which is, like, the most, like, privileged white person thing to do at that time. When it was like, we don't have enough food. And he's like, what if witches are real?
We don't have enough power as it is. Let's get some magic.
Yeah. He's like, I just need to find a tap into the other way of the universe. Life didn't give me enough lemons.
Yeah.
Your ancestors in the Williamite Army killed the Irish people. So let's fucking ask them, right? Let's get them on the blower. See what they have to say. They said, shut your mouth.
Hey, look, there's a lot more to life than a roof over your head and 4 square meals a day. What are you talking?
Yeah, they said the famine, it wasn't orchestrated. It was just an accident.
It was the dark universe. It needed to happen.
Why? So it happened in India at the exact same time, also under British rule. It's called a coincidence.
It's called a coincidence.
I've been talking to the ghosts. They said you need to back off. All right? It's not everything's a genocide. It just seems to happen every time.
It was written in a text from hundreds of years ago, okay? The universe is writing itself.
Look, I'm talking to the other side. Well, hold on. There's quite a few trying to... Wait, there's actually a lot of...
All the voices are like, you dirty baddies must die. The William Butler Yeats, you must tell them all. It wasn't our fault, good sir. Write some sad poetry, get them on your side, win a Nobel Prize, and then tell them to go fuck themselves to panties.
So that, he's trying to
Sorry, that's the voice he hears when he's actively writing. It's like, tell your wife why she got such a silly name. George,
that's your posh English.
That's my West Brit accent.
That's your
darling.
It's very good.
It is.
Billy Yates.
So he's getting into nationalism as part of his identity because it's cool and trendy. He's just a nationalistic goth, and I don't know enough about his poetry to put. I'd written this down. I don't know if it's true or not. People say his early stuff is quite generic. He's inspired by Percy Shelley, who's Mary Shelley's husband.
Yeah, there are people I know.
There are people you know.
Yeah.
And he starts just sort of generic, whatever, 1800s
just
stuff.
Like the painting version of a bowl of fruit.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he starts getting into more William Blake stuff, mysticism. William Blake wrote The Doors of Perception, which is where the Doors got their band name from. But it's a lot of sort of religious
and they do it Huxley as well.
Aldous Huxley's book.
Boom.
There you go.
Overturn. What's that word? Overturn window? No.
You did so well there a second ago. You got Aldous Huxley. You could have walked away with your head. The Overton window.
Overton window.
What?
There we go.
But everyone was so impressed, and then you're like, overturned over. Judge Judy.
You've met me. This is as good as it gets.
When God closes a door, he overturns a window.
And that is very much, that's my style. That's my vibe. It's like, Shannon, you've done so well. What you've done, no, you've completely fucked it now.
Yeah.
You could walk away with 250,000.
No.
You've used up your 3 lifelines. I think I'll have a go.
Put it all on black.
I leave any of those quiz shows minus money. I owe them money at the end.
Yeah.
Double or nothing.
Double or nothing. No. Minus nothing. I want to owe you money.
So in 1889 he releases his collection The Wanderings of Oisin and Other Poems. So it's works based on the Fenian cycle, Irish mythology. So he's getting more into the earthy Irish stuff.
He's getting into the hippie shit.
Yeah. It's apparently this is the only thing
that's closer than, but like we would have been in our mythology episodes. You talk about like the fairies and the fall and all that kind of stuff, and it's like it would have been some form of like mysticism.
He's getting into the fae.
Yes. Apparently that's the only thing that he wrote from that time that he doesn't disown in later life.
Oh.
It's the only thing that's like, that wasn't bad.
Okay.
That when I wrote down all the poems that already existed.
But if you were getting into like magic and stuff, and then you were like, the history of your nation.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, that would be a good way to get into it. Yeah.
Also, he's like 22 and an NCD. I challenge any 30-year-old from NCD to look back at their work from the early 20s. How much you stand?
You've got to give him some slack. You got to have some time where it's not great.
But the year after moving back to London in 1888, when he's 24, he joins this Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and
it's a great name though.
Yeah, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Yeah,
their magical motto.
It's just 2 lads.
It's
Right now, not a lot of members.
Yeah.
Keep telling people about
the name.
It's a great name.
It sells itself.
So it's like a secret society of. There's a lot of these in the 19th century where people are like, sort of, the Freemasons, and they're trying to trace their lineage back to the Renaissance, and they're all like, secret organizations of powerful, the Illuminati, basically.
Yeah,
it's one of these sort of groups, but based on ancient magic and mystic philosophy. A chance for a bunch of just artists to get together and jerk each other off.
Boys to be boys and just be like,
let's draw a couple of pentagrams on
wizards.
the ground and
do you want to be a wizard?
Yeah.
Like, nothing. Because they didn't have anything to entertain themselves, really.
No.
Well, Not like we have now. So like you might as well just meet up and be like, do you want to fucking be a wizard?
Yeah. So around this time, he writes that the mystical life is the center of all that I do and all that I think and all that I write. So he's big into it.
That's big 20s energy, isn't it?
Yeah. This
big
is me now.
This is big. I figured it out, lads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is big early 20s energy.
How has no one else figured this out yet?
Yeah.
It's all so obvious.
It's also, I'm going to be...
Everything's connected.
Yeah.
Does it say anything about him smoking weed around that time either?
I am going to assume.
We're going to assume.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe assumption to make.
Yeah,
Sligo hash.
It's like,
Charas.
Yeah.
Soapbox.
He's flat out drinking poaching.
oh, yeah.
But in the Golden Dawn, he meets Aleister Crowley.
Ooh.
And the two immediately become rivals over their views on magic.
Like, are they, like, they do feel like if they were alive now, they would be playing, like,
Kendrick and Drake.
No,
Maybe.
Tamagotchi. They would be fighting with rival Tamagotchis. Or what's that? Beyblades.
Yeah.
You know,
But when you said if they were alive now, did you mean 30 years ago when people knew what Beyblades were?
yeah. Look, okay, like
And Tamagotchi is something that came way before, but
no,
Yeah.
I was struggling to find
A reference from the last
once I
decade.
Pokemon Digimon
once I
would have
fucked
been
up
the-
Overturn's window, really, my the wind has been knocked out of my cell.
You got this.
Yeah, like I feel like I was going for Beyblades, right?
Yeah.
Which I know is an old reference.
which are coming back though, fairness.
Yeah, because men are getting sadder as we get older, and
Yeah,
then
I just went to Green Day.
yeah, exactly. We're like, fuck it. You know, the next 20 years don't look good. Let's relive the first 20 over again. And in Tamagotchis, that's the first thing that came to my head, other than Beyblade.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got there.
You got there. Well, Crowley, I don't know. It is just kind of funny that Yeats. You'll see his poems and stuff written everywhere. He's one of Ireland's big artists. Everyone celebrates Yeats.
Yeah,
Most of his early life, he's just a fucking weird magician guy.
yeah.
And Aleister Crowley is one of the big. I think he's probably the most famous of this sort of occult guys figures in the UK, anyway.
Now, is he also? Was there someone named like him in a band as well, or were they a band? Aleister Crowley.
Probably because a lot of he's like a big occult figure in England.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
he inspires
Ozzy would have talked
the
about
Beatles,
it.
Right.
yeah, Ozzy, Bowie, Zeppelin all make reference to him and his work, and like
Okay, because I was like, I know it's not Alice Cooper,
yeah.
but there was
They all think all these musicians talk about him. That
Right.
afterwards. He started his own religion called Talalma later on,
okay.
and yeah, it becomes kind of big in the early 1900s. And one of its more famous members is a man called L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, I was about to say him.
He took a look around at this.
Wow.
He's spent a little bit of time in a cult / fake religion and thought, well,
Well, I've got. Let me write a book about it.
Time to leave the Catholic Church.
Yeah, he was like a bad sci-fi writer, like
Yeah.
a real trashy one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he was writing like a book every week. He was doing.
yeah, he was fucking insane.
Yeah.
And he went.
and
"Look,
then he got his act together
Yeah.
and came up with.
the,
just
the
so-
active writing.
Yeah.
He got the active writing. He hung around with Crowley, who told him, "Look, this young dude from Dublin, bit weirdo, but
Yeah.
he's doing this active writing. Sit
got
down
some
there,
ideas, yeah.
think about that. Boom."
He was a bad writer. He was a loose element, and then Xenu sorted
Did
him right out.
W.B. Yeats start Scientology?
Maybe.
It was the inspiration, a link to Scientology.
Listen, I'm certainly going to claim it.
Okay, let's claim it.
Where's
We heard it here first.
Where's the plastic bag?
Yeah. So this next bit is going to be very visual, I guess. But jumping forward to so Crowley, he's up for promotion in the ranks of the Golden Dawn. Big deal. In the
Okay.
early 1900s, he's putting in the work.
Yeah.
He's doing the magic. But the London branch didn't like Crowley because of his bisexualism, which is
Oh,
pretty
sexualizing
bigoted of them.
boys.
bigoted, big bigoted.
As big.
Crowley? I thought he was.
Dude, if you're a wizard,
Hey.
yes. If you're
Yeah.
a wizard,
Yeah.
like it's
But
all on the table.
But they didn't like that he was bisexual and loved drugs, which I would imagine are like the two entry nowadays.
Nowadays,
If you tell me now you're a
that's
wizard,
every
like,
16-year-old now,
yeah,
isn't
you're-
it? Not no.
yeah, that's everyone in NCAD. I don't
Yeah.
think
But if
that's a barrier to entry.
No, I just
anymore.
wonder if it's bisexual. Is it like it's like men and astral beings?
Yeah, there, I'm rooting for Crowley on this one.
Yeah, I am too. I'm coming around to Crowley.
So Crowley goes over to their heads. He goes over the London branch heads and goes to Samuel Mathers in France, who promotes him. So there's a rival sect.
If you're a bisexual wizard, French are going to love you. Speaking as a French man. If you're a bisexual and a wizard and with an English accent, fuck yeah.
Sure,
you're in.
That's how your dad got ahead.
Yeah, well, he's Irish.
Yeah,
but he's
also a bisexual
He also
wizard.
does have big bisexual wizard energy. I would say that,
So Crowley's in France. He gets promoted in this rival sect, and he gets sent on a mission to go back to London and seize the Vault of the Adepts.
This sounds amazing.
It is. When he goes back there, so it's in the Temple in Kensington, and when he goes back to steal this thing, it turns out that Yeats was there on the day, and this goes down in wizard history as Crowley's Siege or the Battle of Blight Road, where all these... So Crowley's coming up with his newly ordained... He's gone over to France.
Has he got a cape? He's got a cape.
I'm assuming everyone's caped
Everyone's
up.
got a caped up. Okay,
Everyone's got capes.
Yes.
And they get into astral fight.
Okay,
Yeats and Crowley on the streets in Kensington.
This reminds me of the South Park episode.
That is exactly what it is. That is what's happening.
Yes.
So Crowley...
They didn't lick it off a stone.
I love the way
which actually was how you accessed half of the power.
I do love the way people goes, there wasn't that many autistic people around back in my day.
Neurodivergency is just something that was made up in the fucking 1980s.
Can you imagine just walking by in a horse and car and seeing a load of bisexual wizards just going, hip, 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 hip. You will not take the chalice of immortality.
The Vault of the Adept.
The Vault of the Adept.
To give it its
on Blythe Road.
How could you write 500 words just on a river? Well,
so not only... We said he was, so he's probably actually not wearing a cape.
You just spend so much time up on your own in a house, just away from everyone, contemplating life. I don't understand why everyone else is so different than me.
Just in their capes, but like nothing, just underwear and just.
Well, no, there is a description of how he was dressed.
Yeah.
There's no cape. But he is running in wearing a black Osiris mask and a kilt, which I feel is even better.
So what is an Osiris mask?
Yeah, what is an Osiris mask?
I don't know.
Oh, Osiris is one of it's like the Egyptian, like.
Yeah, it's the cat doggy.
Yeah.
So he's wearing one of those dog Osiris masks, and they're just running up. They're making the sign of the pentacle and shouting spells.
That sounds like a hip hop concert, doesn't it?
It really, yeah.
Just the diamonds up for the Rockefeller. The Wu-Tang.
Now they were also carrying daggers, which I feel like this is left.
Still like a hip hop concert, to be honest.
Sure, yeah. But daggers, that's boys fight with daggers, men fight with the mind.
Yeah, daggers
and on the astral plane.
Daggers has been slept on for a while. Everyone's like, I've been carrying a blade or a knife, but a dagger.
You need a cursed dagger.
A dagger is a fuck. Were they all curved daggers? Indiana Jones.
How about a
Beyblade? That's what they were. That's where Beyblades actually come from.
It's just a regular blade.
Just a blade with a bit of a twist in it.
This is a quote from that fateful day, the Battle of Blythe Road.
WB Day.
Can we shoot this?
Okay. Crowley's running in with his dog mask and his kilt and his knife.
Dagger.
But Yeats and two other white magicians, I'm assuming that's to do with their rank and it's not a racial thing, but Yeats and two other white magicians came resolutely forward to meet him, ready to protect the holy place at any cost. When Crowley came within range, the forces of good struck out with their feet and kicked him downstairs. So it sounds like they just kicked them.
They build it so high as if like there's gonna be like a metaphysical battle, and they just, you know what?
Yeah,
they had the higher ground and just like
they just knocked it down. Yeah.
Well, just think of any level of like Sunday league football, where it's like lads are going to train Tuesday, Thursday. What we're working on, lads. These are all the drills, and it comes to Sunday, it's fucking kick it,
get it
long.
White magician though, is that? Did they have belts like?
White magician. That I feel it's just that they're using their powers for the force of
the
goods.
image in my head now of like their outfit of them actually having karate belts.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just like they have white belts, they have the Osiris mask on, a cape, no t-shirt, just like white, the white fronts, and then just like brogues, like the Oxford shoes. That's what everyone wore, no socks,
and a warm can of Carling in your hand,
and pint of ale, big, and a dagger.
Yeah. Oh, they're definitely ale men.
They're ale men. Yeah.
But so they're throwing everything. Yeats is pulling out all the stops. He's casting spells. He's calling vampires to curse them. He's also calling the cops, which is the most powerful wizard spell of all.
Yeah. Just, lads, just in case.
I know a summoning spell.
Just in case.
999.
I know we won't
the
need
number
it.
of the beast. the police.
I know we won't need it, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all magicians.
Sure.
You're two white belts here. You're new to the game. But look, you're just to get one of like the squires. I don't know what's the new magician. We call him a squire. We call him a
squire,
squire.
I'd say.
Squire.
Yeah.
Just ring the cops. Ring the old bill, just in case it's a bit cloudy. Do you know? Just the spells might not go through.
Yeah.
Just call the cops. You could do anything if you knew the cops were on the way. Like you could
Yeah.
I know you'd have to get the timing right. You know.
Sure.
But you've got, say, 20 minutes. Like, anyone could be a magician for 20 minutes.
That's beautiful. You should write that on a sticker. Anyone can be a magician for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
This is all set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just-
yeah, and then the cops just go.
You do, yeah. A lot of...
I was just about to reveal. Oh, shit, the cops are here. Shutting me down.
I saw Darren Brown a few years ago, and he does that.
Or did you?
Oh. And I did see Keith Barry in Kilkenny once in the Hub in Kilkenny, which is a terrible venue to watch like 500 people in a function room watching a magician, and there's no big screen for anyone to see any of the tricks.
Yeah.
It's
It was
just...
like, did he do that? I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably.
Probably, yeah. Whoa.
He did do a thing where he was like, everyone stand up and like wave your hand or something. So like, and then eventually, you know, he's like, oh, okay, now more people will sit down. It's like, oh, only the people with the real power, like the most susceptible people.
Yeah.
And then he finally picked a lad to come up on stage, and he got like entranced by something. And then he was like, oh, he won't be able to control himself. And then your man, you kind of see him smile, and he was like, and he just fucking spat everywhere. And then he was like, yeah, he's really fucking into it.
Ah.
This guy, his stepmother was there. He's like, I'm gonna fucking get her. It's like, oh, I didn't even know I was in a trance.
Yeah. Well, I feel like he's just finding the most susceptible guy and was like, all right, give me your pin code.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's what he should do. Just do one tour and rip off everyone.
Yeah.
He might have to.
might have already
Last I
done.
heard of him, he was doing he had a residency in an Abracadabra, and the show was called Abracadabra. I think it's called Abracadabra in Abracadabra. That's not a joke.
That's amazing,
Do you know what it is? Like, that's as bad as that sounds, right? If any of our careers ended up there, we'd be like, Jez, we had a good run. You know?
Oh, great run.
Yeah, geez.
Free abracadabra chips for the rest of your life. That's the deal.
I'd be looking for that now.
Yeah.
Sorry, please tell me more. This is
No,
great.
this is so Yeats. They win on that fateful day.
Yates wins.
He protects the temple.
Okay.
I mean, the cops probably help. But,
Yeah.
So he's an active recruiter for the cult in London. He brings in his wealthy uncle. He brings in a famous West End actress by the name of Florence Farr.
Oh yes, I
Do you know
heard
Florence
of
Farr?
her. I don't know anything she does, but I know
Yeah.
I heard he worked with lots of different actresses
Yeah.
and actors and dancers and everything.
He's bringing in all these, like, not unlike Scientology. He's bringing
Yeah.
in a lot of the big names of the day. And also a lady called Maud Gonne, who's going to feature heavily in the next part of this story.
Okay.
So Yeats meets the 23-year-old Maud Gonne in 1889. She's also from good stock. She's an English heiress, but at this point is also an Irish nationalist like him.
Okay.
She likes Yeats's book, The Island of Statues, and decided to go meet him after reading it.
Ooh.
So this is a story that rings true. I just keep thinking of...
Does she have a lovely meeting with him and realizes that the artist that she thought was fantastic is just as good person?
Is there a young lady who, surrounded by her own peers, finds the men that they're boorish and stupid and immature? And here's an author, a writer, or a musician who she identifies with, who seems to understand her, and she goes out of her way to go meet him. And what? Boy, God, he seems interested in her as a great mind, a peer even. And what's this? She's invited back to his dressing room. Anyway, that's pretty much the same story.
Can I show you my wand?
Yeah, it's the fun. I keep because the Arcade Fire play next week, and he's also William Butler.
Oh.
I think.
Sorry, what's happened?
Oh, yeah, basically the same story, but yeah. Anyway, so she
There
likes.
was a context there I did not get.
Oh,
No,
Arcade
the
Fire,
lead singer of Arcade Fire is also called William Butler. I think.
Oh, okay, did not
And
know that.
That did the same thing. to a lot of female fans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That
was lost on me now. I'm going to be very honest with you.
I really liked your seminal work. Well, then you love this seminal
No, I
work,
got
you know.
that, but you felt like there was something else going on.
I'm not even sure that it basically, this is a tale as old as time, it turns out. There's
Allegedly.
a young woman who really likes his work and goes out of her way to meet him. Yeats becomes immediately infatuated with Gaule, but it's unrequited, partially because Yeats wasn't as into the Irish national movement as she was at the time. But, you know, he becomes obsessed with her, and she becomes his muse.
Oh, no.
Unrequited muse.
Really?
Yeah. He wrote...
That's the best way. If you had a muse who was into you, you'd get nothing done.
That's true. He wouldn't get anything done.
You get nothing done.
Well, it lets him write such romantic poems, such great works as No Second Troy and He Wishes His Beloved Were Dead, which is that's
rough.
That's a fucking Smith
He's gone
song.
down he's gone down a bit of a dark hole there.
Yeah. This is his, if you thought he was going through his edgy phase when he was a wizard.
He's getting a lot done, isn't he?
He's going straight into, I don't know. I wish my beloved were dead.
I wish my beloved was dead is hard for, like, how old is he at this stage? What, 26, 27 maybe?
In 1889, when was he born? Yeah, he's 25, 26.
Oh, that's about, it's a bit late for that, but he was homeschooled for a while, so let's give him a pass on that.
He's immediately just writing, like, Morrissey level poems of, like, unrequited love. I wish that she was dead. That beautiful, lovely bitch.
Oh,
the sort of thing now that we would say would be a red flag, I guess.
Definitely a red flag. Yeah.
I don't know where this falls on the toxic masculinity spectrum.
Right now, I'd say fairly up there.
Not great.
Not great.
In 1891, he goes back to Ireland to propose to Maud, but she shoots him down.
She's living in Ireland as well.
Yeah, he's in London.
But
there's similar. You know, she's from English stock, but is big into Irish nationalism.
Right.
He's from English stock and less into Irish nationalism, but wouldn't you know it?
He couldn't be a wizard in Dublin back then.
No. Couldn't be a wizard in London either, it turns out.
Well, they had a fight. A wizard fight.
They did have a wizard fight. So the timeline's a bit jumped around.
Yeah,
I think the wizard line's after the
right.
Wizard fight's after this. But so he gets shot down. He would later say that this is when the trouble of my life began. He was 26 when he proposed and a virgin. So
that's not a surprise.
No, that's fair.
Crowley must have cursed me.
Yeah. I knew something went wrong that forsaken day.
That devil.
I think of the time that was very, like, if you said you love someone and they didn't say it back, you were like, well, my life's over. I hate them. I hope they... Because, like, you asked, like, 3 people to marry, I think, back then. It was just like, you didn't ride around, even if you were a cool wizard in London in the 1800s. And I don't think it was a big thing back then. I think it was like, you find a girl you kind of like, and you go, do I get married?
Yeah.
And they'll say yes or no.
That's your shot.
That's your shot.
That's basically the first... That's asking them out on a date. Asking them to marry you.
That was it.
That's pretty much
it. Was like, I've seen this woman twice. She is the love of my life.
Yeah.
She's talked to you.
Curse her.
Curse her. The foul wench.
That beautiful bitch. I shouldn't have called you a bitch. I'm sorry. Crowley,
why have you forsaken me with his foul tongue?
So in 1896, Yeats goes and meets Lady Gregory, who's a patron of the arts. And together with her and a load of big writers at the time, James Inge, Sean O'Casey, Douglas Hyde, they start I suppose, they're credited with start the Irish literary revival, where people are like, what if we just wrote about Ireland?
Yes.
And more focus on that. They start the Irish Literary Theatre, and in 1904 he helps open the Abbey Theatre with a big focus on Irish plays.
And when he won the Nobel Prize, is it the Nobel Prize? I keep getting that wrong.
You can get that for literary,
Yeah,
but not the Peace Prize.
Look, it's something. The literary prize.
Yeah.
Right, but he actually talked about his theatre work in the Abbey.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the things that helped bring all the Irish artists after the Civil War and all that. Yeah. And people it shocked people at the time because, like, he wasn't really known for his like his playwriting. It was more of his
wizard
poems.
work.
Yeah, it was other work, but he was like, he felt like it was such a big deal at the time. And I think he was playing the game as a politician around at the same time as well, where he was trying to, like, he's a smart guy, even though he's had like a weird past.
Oh yeah,
he knew how to play the game, and I do think he was a man of the people.
To be fair, like his poems, his poems are very good. He's got a lot of very good stuff. He hasn't done any of it yet. At this point,
yeah, but this is the interesting part.
This is it. Yeah, this is his upcoming. Like any artist, if you dig into his early 20s, did he have a wizard phase? I mean, come on.
I don't think I've lived, because I have, like, I don't know, I haven't had a wizard phase.
You tried to be a rapper.
That's just, yeah.
That is your wizard phase.
That is my wizard phase. If you want to change a couple of letters around.
Your lizard phase?
Yeah, my lizard phase. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. I was casting the incantations and, you know, hoping for things that would never happen as a small town rapper boy.
You used the magic cursed spell of the N-word and then you got kicked out of... No, Shannon, it's one of our forbidden spells. A white wizard cannot use it.
He can't handle it yet. Only the boys who read it from the dark book of the plague can use that word.
There are very
You haven't got that power, son.
There are very few white wizards who have mastered this craft.
Even the greatest white wizard have never said it on tape. Amongst friends, maybe. But never live.
In the car, alone.
Never. It all happens in traffic. Don't worry about it. It's our safe place.
Well, that was definitely your wizard. Those were your wizard years. But he's happy with the Abbey Theatre, still a theatre today in Dublin, one of the big theatres.
Yeah,
he is integral in helping it get set up. Not in the money side of it, but the sort of artsy side,
the vibe side.
The vibe side. They want it to be. They want to move away from stuffy British plays and do more cool, weird French bullshit.
Yeah, I do feel like Yeats seems like, from what I've heard about him, and I've been to the thing in Sligo.
Yeah,
he does seem like a big vibes guy.
No.
Yeah. That's his whole. That's what he's bringing to the table. But theater is not. You know, he's doing a lot of good work for theater in the space of a couple of short years, but he never loses sight of his main passion, which is hounding Mod Gun. That's what it's all for. Theater is just a side hustle. He proposes to her in 1899, gets shot down. 1900, shot down. 1901, 3 years in the trot, third time's the shot down again.
Shot down.
Yeah. She says no every time. At one point, Yeats and Gaule conducted a spiritual marriage through the Golden Dawn cult to channel his frustrations at the lack of a physical.
That feels like revenge porn.
That feels like a nice 1900s
Do you know
way.
what I mean? That feels like he deep faked her face onto something and went, we're married.
I'm pretty sure he just, like, they were in a room and he wanked into a sock. Like, that's... Yeah. What it's described as a spiritual marriage to channel his frustrations at the lack of a physical relationship.
That if everything is...
We've all channeled our frustrations over an unrequited love,
He's
right?
like, look, if we both get to 50 and we're still single, she's like, no, still not. Okay, well.
In the spirit world.
In the spirit world, I've wanked into a sock. So
yeah.
But, like, was he, like, sorry, he's 4 years on the go. He's proposed. 4 or 3?
3 years in the trot, maybe 4 total.
And maybe he's asked her when they were pissed as well, or when he's been drunk. He can't remember. Like,
oh yeah, that's 3 on record.
Yeah,
there's certainly
I feel like
more.
He's been throwing them out there, left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that? But in those times, it was just like, if I keep asking and I'm doing well, eventually she'll say yes.
Yeah.
Or is it like, are they like? Is there any type of romantic, like, entanglings between the two of them, or is he still a virgin?
He's
just like,
for some reason, and I don't know
where. In the real world or the spiritual world?
Yeah, because in the spiritual world, he's fucking slaying.
He's slaying.
Oh man, whoa, he's crushing,
I have
pal.
no worries
in the real world, he is still a virgin. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where I got this from. It's written here.
It doesn't matter.
He's a virgin until he's 30. I don't know where I got that information from, but that's what I've written.
Okay.
Jesus, like Chris Martin and Jimmy Carr and Kevin Larney.
All the greats.
But was she giving him anything? Like, what were they doing? Like, was she just like, get away from me? Or were they friends?
They were like... They were in the same circles, and she was part of the cult, and he was trying to get, like, the whole, you would say maybe his obsession with Irish literary revival is just him trying to fuck her by being into what she's into, which is Irish nationalism.
That's it.
But he's still the weird wizard loser. No, because she's into the wizard stuff as well, because she's in the cult. But he's trying to get into Irish nationalism through playwriting and theatre. She wants the real thing, and she marries John McBride in 1903, a real man.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about the theatre
or the wizardry.
No, he's just a straight up and down man's man.
Gun runner.
He's a good, he's heavily jumping forward a little bit, heavily involved in the 1960s.
We've all been there.
And, yeah,
we've all been there.
Well, no, because Yeats was not there. Yeah, he's talking the big talk, but John.
Oh, we've never been out. After have an unrequited love with someone and she turns around and goes out with a gun runner. We've all been there.
Sure, yeah.
We live in the country in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. That's fair.
Look, he's got a car.
Yeah,
you don't.
He's got a car and he can keep me safe.
He's got a massive
that is
van.
Far,
He's got a massive van and he can keep me safe. And he
Yeah.
loves his country.
Well, but you're busy writing poems about the IRA. Meanwhile, he's
in
getting
the
sent to H block for planting a car bomb.
I'm writing jokes like, "How are you doing tonight, guys?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No,
Yeah. So
I'm bombing on stage. He's bombing in UK."
there you go.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
John McBride. That's to be fair, it's a strong name.
It is.
It is a strong name.
That is the opposite side of the name spectrum.
Yeah, W.B.
William
Yeats
Butler Yeats
sounds like a wizard. John
John
McBride.
McBride,
Yeah,
yeah.
John McBride. He sounds like he could fight. He'd be in Beethoven, not Beethoven, Braveheart.
Yeah. Well, this is a little aside about John McBride's character. As in, he's not a character.
He's a real person.
He's a real person, but
Yeah.
the character.
The
She's
character.
like, sorry, William, I can't marry you.
Yeah.
My hand is promised to John McBride.
I drew him.
There's got to be one John McBride in Ireland. Like,
He's,
that's a fairly.
He's not around today, William. He's running guns for the
running-
IRA.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
He won't be around. He's actually bombing Liverpool today.
I wrote a poem about bombing Liverpool. Yeah, well, he's overdoing the
Bar
real
Bourbon
thing.
6.
Yeah. So, when John and Maud got engaged, there's a guy called Stephen McKenna. He makes the remark that he thought that it was a tragedy that such a remarkable woman should get engaged to such a rolling stone. This story, gets muddled up as it gets passed around the gossipy circles. So when it gets to McBride, he hears a different version of it, and he challenges McKenna to a duel. McKenna accepts the challenge, and then meet.
Now, by a duel, you meant wizardry.
No, this is another difference where like Yeats is, I'm challenging him to a duel, and he's John's talking with guns here. So the two men meet
You
each
have
other.
insulted my honor.
Yeah.
I'll meet you at 10 paces.
Imagine that W.B. Yeats turns up with
A wizard.
You fool!
one.
You brought a one to a...
Yeah, you brought
Meanwhile, Yeats has already called the cops. There's a man running around the park with a gun.
I haven't noticed him in this
The wizards have
neighborhood.
run away as soon as the gun came out.
John, if you could just wait a second, I must get my cape just until he hears the whee. Now we must duel. 20 paces, 30 paces even, maybe 40.
Maybe make it 50. But John, he's a man of actions. The two of them meet up. They pull their guns out to start this duel. But just before they begin to shoot, McKenna asks McBride, what's the duel about? Just before we kill each other, what is this about? And McBride shouts at him that he had heard McKenna say that it was a shame that such an honest man as he should marry such a person as Maud Gonne. McKenna said, no, quite the contrary. What I said was it was a shame that such a turbulent rascal should marry such a splendid woman. And McBride said, shake hands, old man.
Do you know what John's doing?
Yeah. Just before we start firing here, what was this about? I was like, you said it was disgraceful that I should marry a whore like her. I was like, no, I said she's class. You're a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
Fair enough, pal.
Fair enough.
You got me. You got me there. Yeah.
Let's go for a pint.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
I'm John. I'm on John's side.
Yeah.
He's like, let's shake on an old man. Who you call an old man? Get back over.
Did you call my wife an old man? So Yeats was.
Yeats distraught.
Yeats is not happy.
Yeats is in the side, just trying to separate them.
Yeah.
Trying to levitate them away from
Wank
each
it into
other.
a sock furiously.
Yeats is going heavy into the spiritual plane at this point, right? But
He's in his spiritual place.
supposedly at this point he's annoyed publicly that he's talking a lot about the fact that he's annoyed that Gonne had converted from Protestantism to Catholicism to marry McBride, which 100% was not what he was actually annoyed about. He was annoyed that she was marrying and fucking some other guy, but he spends a lot of time talking about how he's religious based.
Yeah, we've all.
He's still religious despite the whole occult stuff.
Yeah.
Have you heard?
I
of
don't see a
Protestants?
contradiction.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
They
Protestants
keep their
don't-
to-
it's
they
very
keep their
loose.
toasters in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And their capes in the drawing room. I don't know.
It's very loose vibe. You can
Yeah.
be a wizard and a Protestant. But
Okay, I'm going to be Protestant. That sounds deadly.
luckily for Yeats, the marriage was a disaster. And in 1904...
Too much of a rogue.
Too much of... Well, to be honest, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know. That's what... I mean, we've all also
He
probably
died in the
seen...
next uprising.
Oof, yeah. We've all seen that play out as well, though.
Yeah.
Where he is... you fall for a bad boy rogue type, and then,
Yeah.
it turns out he's actually a pretty bad man. He's...
I'll never hurt you, babe. Actually, no, I will
Actually,
several
yeah.
times.
yeah.
I've cheated on you while talking.
Sure.
I'll never
I-
hurt you again.
Yeah.
I never hurt you again this
I
week.
love that he gets involved in duels and fights and guns, but I'm sure that'll never.
Yeah.
He'll never do that.
That's
to
a
me.
roguish charm that I'm looking for. He'll
Yeah.
calm down once we're married.
Exactly. So in 1904, they decide to split after the birth of their son. So they go through a divorce case in Paris in 1905, where Gaule makes a series of allegations against her husband, with Yeats as her main witness, or like it's referred to as a second, even though he never actually shows up for the court case in France. So Yeats
That was his chance.
yeah, but I suppose it's just that they're close. But it seems weird he doesn't even bother to show up for the thing.
Too hurt.
Maybe, but this is him getting a chance to go and like help separate the marriage.
Yeah.
He's
But maybe
useless, I think.
He does feel like a bit like a wet blanket when this.
Oh, for
this,
sure.
This kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Also,
But it's also go and testify against the lad who's in the Ra.
when
yeah, but they like that he's in the rat.
yeah,
That's not the issue. But well, Yeats would later describe McBride in his poem about the Easter Rising. He calls him a drunken, vainglorious lout.
Call him something he won't understand. Smart. Smart.
He's also, I think, dead at that point. But
I really want to make a joke about when Maud broke up with John and she was like, "Hey, I'm gone."
yeah,
Sorry, yeah,
No,
it wasn't worth doing it.
that was good. Yeah,
It was, yeah.
because she would have changed her name.
Yeah.
and then changes it back to Maud.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I'm
thanks
gone.
for that.
Yeah, there we go.
It's better when
This will kill
when
in
your
Sligo.
when your joke is funny. It's only funny when someone else explains it as how good it was,
Yeah.
not yourself. Thank you.
McKenna,
Yeah.
McKenna, I'd be gone.
McKenna, get a divorce, please.
John is like, "I'll box." Just this doesn't get any of the wordplay. I'll box.
Well, sure.
I used to box.
Just no word. He's like, "You're a disgraceful lout."
What did you call me?
Oh, just say it. No, you're sound. All right, no, it's grand.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean,
McKenna, what did you call my ex-wife?
they could have done something. Yeah, you could have gone more clever because she's gone from McBride to gone.
Yeah, look.
She used to be a bride.
McBride.
Now she's
Oh,
gone.
fuck. Yeah.
you go.
All right. And that's why.
Punching up.
Again, this thing, you're doing a gig in Sligo.
Yeah, I am.
This is
Yeah,
your
yeah,
open in
yeah.
10 minutes.
It's open
This is
10
it.
minutes. I'm just
Do
gonna.
you know
put-
Maud gone?
I just-
No, right. Remember her husband,
Remember
John
her husband,
McBride.
John McBride?
Do you
No.
know how you know your most
Remember-
famous
remember-
export?
remember
when
You know
Yeats-
the guy you love? Yeah, well, let me tell you about it.
Remember when Yes was a wizard? And he used to call the cops all the time. Just
Yeah.
references to this podcast that no one will understand.
Yeah.
That's great.
There'll be one person in the
One
front
person
store,
would be like, "Woo!"
and it'll be me.
Yeah.
So there's a claim that comes up in this divorce settlement case where McBride refutes it, and then the court's cleared him of it. But there is a assault allegation in there that McBride assaulted Gaugle's daughter from her first union, a kid called Isult. So the claim seems to mostly have come from Yeats. So
Sorry, was that
Gaule
their daughter, their child?
Gaule has a child from a previous relationship.
Oh, okay,
called Isult,
all right.
And there's a allegation that McBride assaulted her, and it seems to be the courts dismissed it,
Right.
and the claim seems to trace back to Yeats himself.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying whether that did or didn't happen.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. I mean, courts now, just because
the
something's
man
thrown
said
out.
it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So I
And
don't
he-
know.
Well, look, he's a military man. He should keep his job.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wouldn't want him to.
I was like, who made the claim? The wizard boy. No, we don't believe it.
Yeah. We wouldn't want him to lose his job as a gun runner. So, but to Iseult, this is just more about Gaule. But she had a son with a married French journalist called Lucien Millevoye.
Oh, that's a good name.
Yeah. So the son was called George. George died at the age of 1. And years later, Gaule meets up with this journalist again, Millevoye, at their son's tomb and fucks him sex with him in the tomb
Hot.
to get pregnant again.
Yes.
With the hopes of embodying the soul.
Oh
of their
yeah,
dead
that's
son.
wizard shit.
That is proper wizard.
That's
stuff.
real wizard
Game
shit.
of Thrones stuff.
That is.
That's weird. That's man, shit was wild back then.
Yeah, they didn't know. In fairness, they still thought cigarettes were good for you.
Yeah. You've lost your son. There's no point crying. What you need to do is go down to the tomb and have sex with your husband on top of it.
If you want to get pregnant, like you need first of all, you need to relax. Smoke
Yeah.
a few cigarettes before riding. Get you in a good natural state of relaxation.
Now, pregnancy is not an easy burden. You want to be taking a lot of heroin to get through the pain. All right?
Yeah, where'll I get that? From the chemist.
Yeah. Oh, of course. After 6 months, you want to wean off that, though, and
Yeah.
move on to cocaine for the
Yeah.
last 3. Really send it
You
home.
put a pep in your step.
Yeah. But this is where Iseult comes from, basically.
Okay.
I mean, that must have been to go through 9 months and then be like, the spirit of my son embodied in, all right, we fucked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ultimately, they can't get a divorce, Gaule and McBride, because the only accusation that holds up in court is that McBride was drunk during the marriage, which is not enough of a crime to stop the marriage. So a separation is granted instead, with Gaule having custody of the baby and McBride having visiting rights, including a month's summer visiting rights. But then McBride leaves Paris for Dublin and never sees his son again.
Okay.
But that's not his. But
No, it's with
It's
different
his.
kid.
So there's Iseult, who's...
Yeah, is the first kid from another.
Come on now, fellas.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to keep track of
No,
the ghost
I'm
children.
With it. I'm with it.
Yeah. So there's George dies at
George
one.
dies, they
George
have
from a
ghost
previous
sex.
relationship. They've ghost sex to give birth to Iseult. Gaule and McBride have a kid themselves together. McBride is accused of assaulting Iseult,
Yeah.
the
What's-
ghost child.
you have to call it the reincarnation because the ghost child is the dead child.
That's
George.
true. Yeah, this is the I see how we're getting mixed up. That's on me. That's true.
Ghost 2.
The Ghost 2. This is the return of the ghost. So
Guess who's kicking?
yeah. But they have a child together, and he does seem to be. This seems to be. I don't know. It's hard to get any truth about McBride because he is one of the next 1916 guys, and he's very much like, he's a hero,
Yeah.
a folklore hero. Does seem like there's certainly enough evidence to show that he was a bit of a drunk lunatic. But shortly after this, he dies in the Rising. So there's a
okay.
lot. He's a lot of
sorry,
this stuff.
he dies before. I thought he was more involved in the Rising.
No, he is. He dies as a product of it.
Are you
Right.
saying he got Chris Kyled?
Yeah, while they're in the middle of making a movie about him, he died. And then all of a sudden they rewrote the movie to be like, you know what? He was actually, drop all that stuff where he said he was shooting people in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. He's actually just a hero. It's actually just a classic black and white story of an American hero. Thank you.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but...
Is that what the ghost child was?
Yeah. Well, I remember there's a ghost baby in
That's
that
what I'm saying.
movie. Yeah. So I don't know. This isn't a story about McBride, though. This is a
Yes,
story about
yes.
Yeats, who I feel better saying that he's a piece of shit. So, going back to the main character. Yeats, in 1907, he published Discoveries, a volume of essays, which is a very generic book title. But in there, among other things, he talks about his introduction to Indian hemp. This is where he starts really getting into it.
This is the Yellow Submarine.
You thought he was weird before. Yeah, this is
Yellow
yeah.
Submarine. It's like, we didn't take any drugs in India. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. If you thought he was weird back in his occult phase, wait till he gets into his smoking fat blunt space, all right? He says he gets some pellets from a guy in India and writes afterwards, I had drunk some cups of coffee and eaten a pellet or two more. I grew very anxious to dance, but did not, as I could not remember any steps. It's finally his writing's becoming relatable.
What a fucking nerd. What a fucking nerd. He's like, I didn't know the Charleston, so I couldn't dance.
Yeah, but also, I mean...
He just couldn't get up off.
Just feel the vibe.
That's a poet's way of saying he couldn't stand up.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. Okay.
That's it. I mean, he's after dropping yolks and he's wetting
Oh,
his...
pellets. Oh,
I
that's
don't-
what
well,
it is.
it-
Yeah.
hemp pellets?
It's
Hemp
hash.
Yeah,
It's
hash.
It's hat. He's
Yeah.
probably done fucking, was it the really strong little, like,
Yeah.
But
Libyan stuff.
it would have been back in Ireland by now because William O'Shaughnessy, the
Yeah.
lad from Limerick, would have brought it in the 1800s.
Look
Right.
at this now.
Look at this. It's funny how your memory just kicks in the second we go to like talk about weed. It's like, actually,
don't you talk about it.
That's pretty good though. That's
That's
good.
pretty good.
Good
That's
back knowledge.
good
Well,
back
we did
knowledge.
an episode of it.
I know. Yeah, we've done episodes about it. We did this episode.
Oh,
I still
yeah.
don't know what fucking happened. We've done a lot of them. In Old Paris in 1908, at the age of 43, Yeats and Gaule finally fucked.
Yay!
Yes, I think we had an applause
Spiritually.
break. No, after 17 years of being a creep, he finally does it. But in a shock twist, it didn't work out relationship-wise.
What? Because he probably has he had the ride before this?
Yeah, at this point, well, for whatever reason, I've written that he did lose virginity at 30. So at this point, he's got 13 years of not being a virgin. I assume he's had sex twice.
Right.
Or he's very smart at lying.
Yeah.
If someone was like,
He thought that was a good lie. It's like, he's still a virgin at 43. No, I lost my virginity when I was 30. Like a legend.
everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
no. Everyone would be like, haha, you lost your virginity at 30. He's like, yeah. Make fun of me for only losing my virginity at 30.
Say, give him a little so they don't take a lot.
Yeah.
I put it in that hole in the middle of her stomach, and she was like, wow.
Yeah, it's just the vibe of someone was like, yeah, no, you had sex. You wouldn't know her. Like,
Yeah, she lives in a different astral
I was on
plane.
holiday.
she's from a different wizard
Yeah.
enclave.
She's from a different dimension. You wouldn't know her. But it doesn't work out, right? So soon after their night together, Gaule wrote to Yeats saying, I have prayed so hard to have all earthly desire taken from my love for you, and dearest, loving you as I do, I have prayed, and I am praying still, that the bodily desire for me may be taken from you too. So
That's harsh. That's strong words.
yeah. Within a couple of more weeks, she was sending Yeats letters praising the advantage given to artists who abstain from sex. So
That's she wanted the best for him.
well, she's basically like, I've just been
Do you know what?
praying
She's
that
right,
you
though.
stop being attracted to me.
Coldplay's best stuff was when they were young.
That is true. They have gotten very bad.
You can say that about every band. Like the first 3 or 4 albums. Were
Yeah. But specifically,
Coldplay. Okay.
Yeah.
at least I think he said he didn't have sex until way
Yeah,
later.
I don't know if that's true.
That-
I think
That's
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And Jimmy Carr said there's loads of people.
Jimmy
with
Carr
that.
is sure, but Jimmy Carr, if you look at him when he's younger,
Yeah.
it tracks.
I was going to say, if you look at him now, he's,
Yeah. Okay.
he's like
But there was a brief period in
2%
the
of his original face left.
Yeah. But he's a proud Limerick man who doesn't talk to his dad. He's
Yeah.
very-
As a good old alcoholic, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing us proud.
I feel like every time he does a gig in Ireland, his dad talks to like the Limerick leader.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
like, well, he knows where I am.
It's the most alcoholic dad
Yeah.
thing ever. He knows where.
And
Does he? I don't think he does.
He does. He's not going to call.
Yeah.
And
he
will you
knows
be
where
going?
I am because I've been reaching out to him for
Yeah.
the last 6 months, having not talked to him for 40
Message
years.
him any chance of a tenor or something.
Any chance? But did you see? I don't know how true this is, but I'm going to believe that it is true. Someone took a picture at like the VIP section or something of the Liam Gallagher's gig, and they saw that there's a seat reserved for Noel. Obviously empty, but they took a picture and tweeted at him. It's like, you always leave a seat there for Noel. He's like, well, you never know.
Oh,
Which
never
is
know.
that's
very-
lovely.
You do know.
You
It's not
do
going to
know.
happen.
It's nice though.
You
Yeah,
swung a
it is
guitar
nice.
at his head.
It's like
He's
you
not
could
coming back.
call him. You could call him. No.
I'm
no.
going to passive aggressively leave a seat
Yeah,
empty.
yeah. So
for
I
him.
look like the good guy.
Yeah, maybe Jimmy Carr's doing the same for his dad.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
went on a Oasis deep dive the other like a few months ago to see like what did go on
between the years of 2006 and last week.
But I was like of whenever they broke up, it was like, because I would have been younger. Ever like I found the story. Then they're like, oh, he like came in locked and he like swung a guitar at his head or whatever, and he
Yeah.
left. But then when they trace back, these YouTube documentaries are great, where they just like selectively pick pieces of information to make someone seem like
let's
a
do
cunt.
3 hours
It's
of
like,
this.
Yeah.
Turns out Noel did nothing bad ever, and Liam is a bastard.
It's just some guy in his bedroom going. Turns out.
Nah.
But when you go back through it, and they just have all the like the in the media, they're like, right, Oasis break up, and then Liam's like, yeah, Noel's a fucking cunt, and then 2 years later, he's like, yeah, Noel's still a cunt, and then as his career just doesn't really take off as much,
Yeah.
it's like, well, do you know what? There's probably wrongs done on both sides.
Yeah.
And then more recently, it's like, look, it'd just be great to have him back
I feel
together.
like Liam's having a better solo career
Does-
post
yeah.
Oasis.
I don't know.
Hey, Liam Gallagher and the High Flying Birds seem to play here a lot, and he's on festivals. I've never seen.
They're good.
They're
That-
probably fine, but
Noel,
like I've never
yeah.
heard of Noel doing.
No, that's Noel Gallagher. and the
That's
High Flying
Noel.
Birds.
Noel is high
Ah.
five birds.
Yeah.
Oh well, then
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No, then
Yeah,
Liam's
he
not doing.
seems he's doing well. Like.
Okay.
Liam's having to
Liam-
defend in public when people are like, why are you singing Oasis songs at your live gigs? He's like, well, I was in the band when Noel wrote them.
I was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sang the lyrics Noel wrote for me.
Can
Yeah.
you play an instrument, Liam? No. I can wear the fuck out of a Parker though.
That's fair.
That's no. I can't do
that
that.
sells like £500.
Yeah.
But well, beautiful segue back. I just thinking of
W.
the...
Yeats seems like he'd wear a parka.
Anyway, Yeats,
Paris.
he never gives up. Well, after he has sex with her, it doesn't work out. Doesn't have a relationship. But Yeats never gives up his love of the occult. And in 1911, he joins the Ghost Club in London, a paranormal investigation and research organization, which is often, I feel, left out of his... Again, they don't teach this bit in the Leap and Search.
No, they don't.
No. It's founded in 1862. It's got such members as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Charles Dickens.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
I'd like to see like a Ghost Hunters episode with the three of them.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's still going. Well, at least at the time when I wrote this, their website says that we work with historic houses, heritage sites, and unusual locations to host overnight investigations into paranormal activity. This is literally just like all those fucking cheap haunted house shows. It's the Ghostbusters.
Which I love.
Of course.
Just seeing bad actors being like, fuck. It's a ghost cunt.
Just Liam Gallagher go, fucking ghost. It's the ghost of my career.
I'm talking to I think it's a woman. Can you describe what she looks like? Well, she's she's actually she says she doesn't want the cameras around.
Oh yeah, there's that weird scene in
That's
Ghostbusters.
her ectoplasm is what that is.
Yeah.
You know that weird Ghostbusters? It's a kids movie, and then like Dan Aykroyd gets a blowjob off a ghost, and you're like, oh, I watched this when I was 6.
Yeah,
I don't know
Hollywood, lad.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know, is it in that scene, it's just they're just playing the theme song?
They are.
But if you have the lyrics of the theme song...
Is it Busted Makes You Feel Good?
Busted Makes me feel good. But
because he's getting a blowjob off a ghost.
But, well, he's also doing seances. He's talking to ghosts in 1912.
Wishing for a blowjob.
He talks to a spirit calling itself Leo Africanus, which claims to be Yeats's demon. It's certainly him just doing blackface. Feeling like he's in his mid-40s and he's like, you know what? I've always had an affinity with the people of Africa. It's time to... He's come up with an alter ego for himself called Leo Africanus. Yeah. Anyway, along comes Easter 1916. Everyone's going to mass and getting excited about being able to use the post office for the next week. Maud's ex-husband, John McBride, gets executed for his role in the uprising, making him a bit of a thirst trap once again.
Oh.
Well, as in now he's dead, so he can't beat you up anymore.
Right.
And he's been executed for trying to free the country.
Yeah.
Pretty sexy. Yeah. So at this stage, Yeats is 51, but is still hoping that he has a chance with Maud.
Isn't he married at this time?
No, he's not married. He has slept with her once, but he wants a long relationship with her. So, I think we're on 5th time's the charm. He goes to propose again. Now that her ex-husband's been executed for
being a legend.
Yeah, he figures this is her chance. Although, I don't know. So it comes with a lot of conditions, this proposal. And it's thought that maybe at this stage it was more out of honor and duty after her ex-husband gets executed, which I don't
that's
true.
a strong move to be like, I'll marry you, but there's conditions.
There's conditions, yeah.
He set the conditions.
It hasn't worked up until this point.
I think maybe he's changed his tact because he's trying to be romantic and being like, that he's his long-lasting love. And then he went, actually, no, he's negging her a little bit.
I think he is, because he's like, we can marry, but under these conditions.
Yeah, you do blackface to me.
Yeah. You call me Leo Africanus from now on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeats is dead, baby.
Yeah, Leo's back in town,
It's
baby.
the age of Leo.
Pimp suit instead of a cape. Oh, finally the cape comes in handy.
Yeah.
And his staff is now a pimpkin. What's up?
Yeah.
It's Billy Yeats, baby.
Billy Yeats, Leo Africanus. That wizard
Leo
shits for fools. I'm putting the player in playwright.
Yes.
Woo! Anyway, none of that happens. That's just a bit of fiction.
That's a bit of...
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that happened.
Yeah, maybe.
Your
but...
husband left you here on this astral plane alone. I won't leave my wife like that.
I heard your husband dead.
Yeah.
What a fool.
Jason Love walks in.
It's funny they call it the East Horizon because that motherfucker ain't getting up again. But Leo's here. He's dead and gone, baby.
Leo from Africa. I'll tell you all about the Civil War, baby.
I said, my gone.
I said, my gone.
Goddamn. Anyway, so maybe this was a weird, noble attempt to try and like provide for her after Her husband's dead. That doesn't really hold a lot of water, especially when it's combined with the fact that once she rejects him again, he goes on to have a crack at her daughter. So he gets shot down again. He goes on and proposes to Iseult, the what we settled on, the reincarnated child, who was 22 at the time.
Okay.
She had tried to propose to Yeats when she was 15.
Oh.
And Yeats does the noble thing and turns her down.
It was wait.
Until...
like 6 years.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of the Woody Allen vibe about him.
For sure. So he waits a couple of years and then tries to crack onto her.
All right.
Yeah.
Half your age, wait 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
right,
like, I think I've got one more shot at your ma'am. Then,
he's just... Look, I need to lay it all out on the table.
Yeah. I'm going to try a Leo Africanus thing. If that last gambit doesn't work, we're on.
It's one of the conditions, like, if you don't marry me, I'm going to marry your daughter.
Yeah, that might be one of them.
That might be one of the conditions.
Yeah. So in September 1916, he moves on. He moves on from the gone
household.
He figures, right, it's time to try something else.
He's gone from the bloodline.
Yeah. He goes on and proposes to a 25-year-old Georgia Heidles.
Okay.
Known as George.
Okay.
So she was also a member of the Golden Dawn cult, and 4 days into their honeymoon, George shocked Yeats by suddenly taking on the voice of a messenger from the other world with secrets to impart. And it tells Yeats that the moment of sexual union was a portal to knowledge of the spiritual world, a knowledge that carried with it a metaphorical language rooted in a belief system of stunning power and richness.
Oh, she got him.
Cool.
She got him.
Talk dirty to
She got him,
Yeah.
didn't she? Fuck me.
Yeah. So this is where the two of them start experimenting with automatic writing, as you were saying at the start. So she contacted a variety of spirits and guides that she called instructors while in these trance states, and Yeats would just free flow write with his so it was basically it's just like free flow writing.
Yeah.
Throughout their marriage, the two held more than 400 sessions on automatic writing, which is pretty sexy, and produced more than 4,000 pages. Despite their shared lunacy, though, he wasn't really happy with the marriage.
Wait, hold on. That's not that many.
No, it's not really.
That's just over one a day. For
Actually,
a year.
yeah, I was like, that's a lot, and then I was like, wait, no, it's not. It's like,
one a day, and 14 months.
and they might even not be that long. They could be like a paragraph each. Like,
But even out of the 400 sessions, they got 4,000 pages.
Yeah,
4,000 pages.
10 pages.
Sorry.
If you do your morning pages, that's about 3 pages.
When was the last time either you wrote a page?
Fuck,
Yes, I have
it's
4 yesterday.
Like,
But that was the first time for about 4 months.
to be honest with you, about 6 months.
But I was so glad that you said it right.
Yeah,
at that
oh,
point.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
actually, I wrote 4 fucking pages
Yesterday, and then we won't look at any of the days previous to
No,
that.
about 6
Yeah.
months since I wrote it down.
All right, so you're both underperforming compared to these numbers.
Yeah, it's true.
All
But
right.
also, I'm not speaking to fucking ghosts.
Well, maybe you should.
Maybe I should, actually. Yeah,
You should, all right? So the two of them seem like a perfect match. They're both insane, but he's not happy with their marriage initially, but he cracks it. He learns to love her by cheating on her. So she would later write, "When you are dead, people will talk about your love affairs, but I shall say nothing, for I will remember how proud you were."
Proud of what?
Cheating
He was
on her,
like,
I
hey,
guess.
look, yes, I cheated on you, but they were class.
Yeah.
I feel like he wrote that for her.
Maybe.
I feel like he had an automatic writing where he was like, you know what?
It's whatever, right
This is what George said about me. She said, Joe, I was deadly.
Yeah.
Or maybe he meant cheating on he held active writing sessions with other people.
It's just free form, baby. I swear.
She meant nothing to me.
It was the 70s.
It wasn't me, it was Leo. So in 1919, in the middle of the Spanish flu, that horrible pandemic, Yeats wrote The Second Coming. So the disease had infected his 79-year-old father and also infected his wife, George, who was pregnant at the time. So W.B. Yeats heard about John Butler Yeats' disease through a friend who had arranged for a nurse to come and look after his dad because he'd refused to go to the hospital for the flu.
Okay. Smart back in the day.
Smart back in 2022 as well. People
Yeah,
were like,
yeah,
"Fuck
yeah.
You're not going in for it. But into the middle of this came Maud Gonne.
She's back again. Like, to be fair, for a guy, like, he proposed for, like, 5 times, 6 times, we'll say.
Yeah.
And she kept coming back, like.
She did. So at this point, she was in prison in England. So she was out on like health leave from the prison, at which point she ran away, went back to Ireland disguised as a Red Cross worker in the middle of the plague.
Sorry, how do you get? When did it get rid of that rule? Like you're a bit sick, you may go home.
I suppose when there's a
Still happens.
probably did that happen during the pandemic?
Yeah.
Well, like this flu is ravaging the place.
This is
like,
this is worse.
No,
probably not a great idea to be locked inside a prison.
Even still, if you're a criminal and you're in for life, if they're like he only has a few months left, they let you out.
So she goes back to Ireland, sneaks back into Ireland, disguised as a Red Cross worker, and goes up.
I'm a fleeing criminal. I'm about to die. This is my chance.
Well, she's going back to take the house back from Yeats. He'd been renting it from her.
It sounds like he carried on his dad's like inability to like use money because he's still renting a house in his 50s. That's not good.
Yeah.
Look, God, I wanted to ask you something. Not again. No, it was about something else.
The rent might be a bit late this month
rent
because
this
it hurt.
house from you?
Yeah, so
W, you have 4 mansions. I just thought it'd be great to overextend myself.
Well, so she breaks out of prison basically to come and like, give out to him for stealing her house.
That's a fucking boss.
That's
move.
a baller move. So
yeah, we like that.
But at this time, he gets a lot of credit for. He writes a famous poem, and there's lines in it. Right, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. And what rough beast? Its hour comes at last. Slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. People are like, wow, he saw the war coming.
Oh, because I did not get that from
No,
that.
it might have been that he just got kicked out of his fucking house. Like he was annoyed at his landlord. This is 20 years before World War II. He writes this.
Yeah.
What great beast slouches towards Bethlehem?
World War II, baby.
Yeah. Well, those are some of his most famous lyrics. The Falcon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the center
lyrics.
But I mean, surely you're talking more about we're closer to the idea of like the fucking War of Independence, and
I think to be fair, he's just like. Is not a good time. World War One, everything's fucked. Everyone's getting killed from this plague. It's probably fair enough to be like, there's something bad happening.
Yeah,
I don't know. The bird metaphor and you throw in Bethlehem there. It's got like a cool biblical meaning.
Yeah.
He's basically just like it ain't good in 1919.
Yeah.
My pregnant wife is sick. My dad's dying. It's not a good time.
the vibe on blackface is starting to turn badly now.
Yeah. It was fine a couple of years ago when I did it. And
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, I didn't take down the pictures because I thought they wouldn't come after me. But in 1922, as you also said at the start, he gets appointed as an Irish Free State senator. In his time in the Senate, he was well known as a liberal advocate for divorce, but also pro-death penalty and the use of public floggings as punishment. Probably not a controversial opinion in the 1920s.
Probably not, but you look back, you go, you divorce, you go, well, yeah.
I think he still thinks that part of the reason Maud Gonne's not technically divorced because she's still married and her husband's just dead.
Right.
But if divorce is legalized, maybe he has a chance.
King Henry.
Well, because she's Catholic now,
right?
So he wants Catholic divorce.
Yeah,
he's still Protestant, which is a religion founded on the idea of divorce.
Yeah.
So he might just be pro it for whatever reason, but he might also just want.
I don't know. It seems pretty like I feel like he's done a lot based on what Maud Gonne was like saying no to him. Like he seemed like it's all been a lot of generated from that. Like
that's true.
That technically she would have been his muse, probably for all of the wrong reasons.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff he does seems to be inspired in the attempts to get to sleep with her.
Yeah, a lot of rejection.
Yeah, and maybe he just wanted to. I don't know. He might have just approved that they did the
Look,
course.
We're reading a very skewed version of this.
Sure.
In our version, he is a pimp who hates.
Yeah,
who wants divorce and
so that he can marry. Mom,
and is a Ghostbuster.
But So in the divorce movement in the early 1920s, obviously the church isn't going to like that.
No.
So he gives a speech at some point to the Senate, talking to the other senators, saying, if you show that this country, Southern Ireland, is going to be governed by Roman Catholic ideals and by Catholic ideals alone, you will never get the North. So far, he's not been wrong.
He's not been wrong.
No. So in 1923, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Not peace, but they're pretty close.
Nobel Peace Prize rolls off the tongue.
That's
quicker.
true.
Yeah.
So his contribution to poetry, and he hammered home the fact that an Irishman had won the award so soon after becoming a free nation. So that's pretty impressive. 1923, that's literally, like a year and a bit.
Yeah, and I think it was a big part of he didn't feel bad about it was the first Irish person to win it, but it was also like a way of recognizing Ireland as a free state at the time, and he wasn't like, hurt about that. He understood like why he was winning, like that was a part of it, and accepted that. Like I think that's one way when his acceptance speech was more about like not just his own work, but loads of other Irish artists. So like I know we're talking shit about, but he was very erudite and understanding human being at the same time.
That's true, but also
human being,
or ghost.
Well, you know, he was an ethereal being.
Yeah. Well, that's all very nice and lofty ideals of him.
I'm trying to like level it out a little.
But he was also very excited
to have sex with that child of girl that he loved.
Was that the ghost child or the other child?
Well, he wasn't involved with the ghost child.
He did try and bang her.
You don't know that.
No.
He wasn't involved in the making of the ghost
child. He wasn't involved with the making of the ghost child.
Not when she was on this planet.
Yes. But there's a sock that probably has a few things to say about that somewhere.
Well, yeah, that maybe, you know, obviously he is also a famous poet, and he probably was happy with the idea of helping to legitimize a burgeoning nation by winning a prestigious award.
He probably all did it because he just still wanted to ride Maud.
He was very happy that the prize also came with a substantial cash.
Yeah.
He says it's the first time that he actually had any money, so he's able to pay off his debts and his dad's debts. So he's happy with that as well.
Yeah.
That helps a little bit.
Yeah.
As he gets older and the world suffers through the Wall Street crash of 1929 and the ensuing Great Depression, Yeats starts to question the current political system's ability to deal with severe economic hardships. After the fall of monarchies in World War I, democracy was the hot new ticket in town. But he begins to ask, if unbridled capitalism in a democratic state was the best solution, why would these things happen? What about the Great Depression? Maybe there's a better way. Remember his fascination with the occult?
Yes.
He also looked to the East for solutions to this current problem. And he found a man called Benito Mussolini.
Oh, yes.
He liked what he saw.
Yes, I heard about this.
Yeah.
He was maybe the ancient of the blue shirt.
The ancient Orients will have answers to maybe there's a better way than democracy.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yeats becomes fascinated with authoritarian, anti-democratic national movements of Europe.
Dude, he's taken some fucking swings in his lifetime, isn't he?
Yeah, but he wrote at least 3 marching songs for Owen O'Duffy, the Irish fascist, the leader of the Blue Shirts, although they were never used, which feels like that.
You've not mentioned until now that he has any musical bone in his body.
Well, he's writing the lyrics for it. He's like, you can put this to music later on. He's writing but I'm sure that's one of those. He's probably annoyed at the time, and then about 10 years later, it was like, dodged the bullet on that one. That would not have.
He's just living it.
He's getting a lot of heat for his Leo Africanus phase, and he's like, thank God, none of those songs got picked up.
He lived in Italy as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he's going to. He spends a good bit of time there. He gets quite into the deal. Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. He's also. It's conveniently after the first time he has had money. He's like, you know what? I think the rich are better.
Oh, okay.
So fascism, with its ideas of nation spirit and national myths, appealed to him. He didn't like the new post-World War I democracy sort of a world. And he says the best aristocratic upper classes lack all conviction, while the worst, the vast majority of working class people, are filled with passionate intensity.
Do you think he got like, after like the rising, that he was kind of I don't know, influenced by that, but like he was a big nationalist, and like obviously Maud that was his big attraction to Maud, that he wanted to be more nationalist. That like when he got money, he went over to Italy and saw it over there. It was like was he just caught up in it a little bit? You know what I mean? Seeing it from a different side and goes, I don't know. Like it seems weird because he seems quite liberal because he's a wizard after all.
Yeah,
to go a bit older and be like, do you know what? Like it seems like he was a. Someone who would experiment with different ways of thinking, and
sure. And it's hard. I mean, there's way beyond the remit of what we're doing here to talk about, like fascism in the 1920s. He probably the world was not a good place. And Maybe these fancy men with their spiffy haircuts and matching uniforms. Maybe we need a strong leader type.
They're all missing. All they're missing is a cape.
Yeah, a lot of the wizard in him really likes this, but he's a bit of an elitist. There's some other quote from him where he says, base-born products of base beds. He talks about the sort of worker underclasses will procreate more and faster.
Yeah.
And we need a swift...
Well, he'd hate that because he never got the ride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's also not Catholic.
So that's my problem. I'm too wealthy. Women hate that.
But he's seeing Ireland become more Catholic, and he's like, what if we were just a fucking...
Yeah, well,
a bit fascism?
Yeah.
So Yeah, he has a little faster face.
Yeah.
So this thing about the Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize, that usually that's the first time he's had money, so he's paid off the father's debts.
Yeah, that's what he says.
But the family's from money.
The family is like they're.
You could be from money and poor though.
Yeah,
Or
it's more
you
like
could-
he's not. He's
you
not.
could also be for money and full of shit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more. He's not like from money, but he's. It's not as if he came out of nowhere, and his family are kind of connected and wealthy.
He probably
and
had like an uncle that he could stay
He's
with.
always been
I assume
upper middle
he's
class.
always
Yeah.
been well looked
Yeah.
after, and he's
Yeah.
always he hasn't had money, but he's never had to pay for anything.
Exactly.
In his
Yeah,
entire life.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I've got a house. You know, he stayed in London for a long time. But I've never heard of him having a job.
He was a wizard and a
Like, yeah.
poet. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the sort of guy who complained about being broke and having money problems. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
have you
yeah.
heard of Foss?
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
fucking
No, but it's
leave the wizard in behind.
When he made his money, he's like, do you know what? We should get rid of any help for the poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, but
and it sounds like the nepo baby thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Big Nepo
he
baby.
is. It's like he's. I'm a struggling artist. I don't have any money. If I was watching that Mad Lad, was it John Bernthal?
Oh, yeah.
There was a real ones.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then it's always like bits were popping up. He's like, you know what? I was like, my family's fucked
Oh, yeah,
up.
and then he-
they'd, like, I was fucked out of school, and that they sent me to another school. I was like, what was that school? It was that school was from one performing arts college
Yeah,
to
one
the
in-
Moscow.
Yeah.
And he had to have a translator that the family paid for,
Yeah.
and
was
he did all of that. He's like, yeah, man, struggling artist
I
shit,
was
you
just
know.
a guy-
Yeah.
I was this guy from the streets who had a handler the whole time I was in Russia. Like,
Yeah, it's
all
like,
right,
yeah.
Oh, you have multi-millionaire, maybe billionaire family members. It's
Sure.
crazy.
But it's also not dissimilar from like us, maybe even in this episode. Yeah, we'd be like, fucking struggling artist down here in Dublin, just making a living. Or also like, if worse came to worse, we're like, we've all got like middle class parents that we'd be like, we just go back to the farm.
I live in a
Yeah.
shed. Speak for yourself.
You do live in a shed. You're
Hey,
you're
hold
the
on.
only real one here. To be
Hey,
honest.
hold on.
I'm the
You live
real
in your
one.
father's shit.
My father's shed. Yeah, actually.
If your father didn't have that shed, you'd have nothing.
Yeah, where'd you get that? Oh, how did he get the shed that it turns out his dad owns? A
bought
landlord with
it
multiple
He
properties.
he bought it from a bisexual wizard.
Your ma'am.
That's what they call French people in Loughlin.
The first couple of years, there's a bisexual wizard family moved in.
She speaks with a strange tongue. Where is she from? She's a bisexual wizard.
Bonjour.
Bon.
Don't cast your spells
Don't
on
cast your
me.
spells on me. Comment tu ça va? Oh no! There's the curse upon a family for many years.
That wizard family moved in down to Loughlin, and now I'm cursed.
Of course.
That's why I'm cheating on my wife. It's a spell.
It's a spell.
It's a wizard spell. Anyway, in 1934, Yeats was 69. And he's feeling his age. The 1930s is a tough time to be old, but he's relatively wealthy, so he's got options. And he decides to get steineckt or xenotransplanted. These are two terms for the same thing. The Steineckt treatment, which was pretty popular among older men at the time, is basically a vasectomy, but they grafted some ape or goat testicles onto you instead. Yeah. So he's a rich old weird man. He's getting up in age, and they're like,
He's
you
not
know,
goat balls.
well now,
Or ape.
am I grafted? Like when it says it's described as grafted in the moment, but it sounds like they literally just like they cut open your sack and then throw a bit of monkey ball in there and sew it back up again.
No, but they take yours out.
No, well,
Oh, you're three balling it.
yeah.
You'd have to be. A vasectomy wouldn't be.
But vasectomy is just like a snip. They don't take them out.
No, that's what I mean. But I'd say back then, like, old school ways, they're like, wait, this is a prosthetic. We're
Can
gonna
you
throw
imagine
an
how
ape or a goat
dodgy
one
that
in
would
there.
be back
Oh
then?
yeah, it's dodgy. I don't know.
Like,
Also, I just want
it's
to say,
19.
for a man who's had sex maybe once in his life, to be like,
But it's not. He's not doing it for the vasectomy. This is like a hot new treatment where like this will.
It's for virality.
It's for virality. Oh yeah,
Be a virile young man again.
he doesn't want. He wants a third ball. And he wants it to
Yeah.
be. He's looking at the apes and monkeys and he's like,
He's
"Yeah,
like, well, they can fly around.
hot,
yeah.
hot dog. So he
Hot
gets.
dog.
He gets a bit of. Yeah. Well, he gets the treatment anyway. He might have a bit of goat testicle or monkey testicle in him.
Oh, goat and monkey.
Oh, either or. He's not a
Okay.
madman.
Okay, he's not a man.
No, he picked one.
you got a goat ball, but a monkey's hand.
He just watching the goats
You've
trying
got
to
three
see.
wishes. Okay, mod gone, and Zenith.
It turns out Maud is gone. Damn you, monkey paw! Ed smarted again. You just watch. Imagine just like looking at all the goats in the pen to be like trying to see which one's
that one.
Which one's doing the most fucking.
The one is just like with a cape on. I want that one.
Yeah, where's the one with the kilt in the corner?
A cape on. No, I want that one.
Give me that one. But it works. He gets rejuvenated for the next stage of his life.
A child recently. All right, well, I'm going to crack on to her for a while first.
Yeah.
Does it work, or has he just gone insane from the fucking septicemia that's running through his body?
Gone insane?
Yeah. True.
You've been here for 2 hours. You had me until the goat balls.
But it could be psychosomatic. He's got goat balls. And it gives him a new lease on life in both his pursuit of writing great poetry and banging young women. So there's the poet and actress Margot Ruddock.
Would that be a child line at that, or at that time? It's like, hey, baby,
I just got stymied.
I just got a goat ball.
Have you heard of goats? No, I'm not fucking kids. I said I'm fucking.
I thought you said I'd have a ghost ball.
It's because he's going deaf because he's old.
Are you going deaf? How about we sew these monkeys' ears onto the side of your head?
Just going around like Frankenstein's baby going...
He's got Alzheimer's? Let's put an elephant's brain in there.
It's very similar to the movie Moneyball, but it's Monkey Ball.
She's been dead 20 years.
Yeah, she's been
dead. Just trying to fuck her daughter, Alakazam, or whatever her name was.
But he's pursuing this young poet called Margot Ruddock and novelist. Well, a novelist and journalist called Ethel Manning, and he writes, "I find my present weakness made worse by the strange second puberty the operation has given me, the ferment that has come upon my imagination. If I write poetry, it'll be unlike anything I've done before." Yeah, so
that's just yuck.
He's a weird old man who had a weird fucking ball surgery.
Oh, you get younger.
Yeah, exactly. My second puberty.
Did you hear about what happened to me?
Yeah.
I have a love for riding that I never had before. I have a goat bollocks.
So there's a lot of... It's hard to find out the truth of this whole goat ball thing. But so apparently his doctor... it was called...
It was a vet.
Yeah, it's a vet. Doctor. It did 2 years of ag science, lad. You can't go wrong.
Have you ever seen a goat ride?
Yeah.
Willie, come here to me. Have you ever seen a goat go at it? I have something to fix you there now.
Like, go at an awful in there, yeah.
Okay, that's why I like the goat thing. Now this horse over here.
Yeah.
If you want to take a chance, do you want to take a chance?
No, that one's just for Leo.
That's for Leo.
But so apparently his doctor Norman Hare tells Yeats' biographers years later that the operation failed. Didn't take, and Yeats just thought it had worked. It's all in your head.
Yeah,
obviously. Anyway, Liz, I didn't.
Is in his insane head.
He's an insane man.
They put in his head. They should put in his sack.
No. In 1937, Yeats' friends get together some money to send him and George to live in France, where the climate was more
broke
suitable.
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, his job is just being a poet.
Yeah. Okay.
Which has never been a good income earner.
No.
So it was from this event that he writes his poem, "The Municipal Gallery Revisited," and as the closing lines, "Think where man's glory most begins and ends, and say my glory was I had such friends." Which is very sweet.
It's very sweet.
Yeah, that his friends got him money to send his broke
like
ass and his goat balls to France.
That was like a line that was written out of like, I need to throw them.
Yeah. That's a nice little thank you note.
Yeah.
In the winter of 1939, Yeats was staying in Menton, France, at the Hotel Ideal Séjour. But the séjour was far from ideal because he died.
Oh.
He was
one way to ruin a séjour.
Yeah, that's one way to dampen the séjour. But he's attended at his bedside by his wife George and his current mistress, the 54-year-old Edith Shackleton. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, he's got the goat balls. Now.
He's got
to
the
put
goat
them to
balls.
use, yeah.
But doesn't he not know they don't work at this point?
No, he never knows.
Oh, he never knew. Oh,
it's
okay.
his biographer after he's dead. The doctor says that they never.
Uh,
Also, the whole thing is fake.
How
But,
would he have known?
Yeah, as far as it's like a placebo.
yeah.
He's thriving.
You can feel like you could have just given him a pill.
I've got
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But then you wouldn't believe it as hard. I feel like
Yeah, look,
If
he's
you-
never hurt.
Yeah.
maybe they never did the operation, just knocked him out for a while.
Yeah. You
Big bollocks.
gotta take one of these Viagra's every day to help with the healing. It's
Yeah.
like, the goat ball worked. So apparently he'd always wanted a quiet funeral. His last wishes were, if I die, bury me up there. He's talking about at Rockburn, someplace in France. And then in a year's time, when the newspapers have forgotten me, dig me up and plant me in Sligo. Now, we'll put a pin in that for later because that's a little suspicious. But they obey his wishes and he's buried at Roquebrune Cap Martin in France. But for any fans of history, heading into 1939 France, it's not a good time.
Not a good time, no.
World War II got in the way, so it wasn't until...
Which he predicted.
He did predict.
Yeah.
Yes, and then died conveniently before the thing happened. He was only 20 years off. But it wasn't until September of 1948, after the war, when Yeats's body was moved from France to the churchyard of St. Columba's Church, Drumcliff, County Sligo, where he was reburied. So his epitaph is taken from his poem Under Ben Bulben and says...
yeah.
This is written on his gravestone. It says, cast a cold eye on life, on death, horsemen pass by. This is pretty nice.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Don't remember that, but I do.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. So that's the end. That's the end of old Yeats.
That's
And it's
and what
really
was...
good.
Sorry, I know we've just talked about this for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But what was his connection with Sligo?
Oh, Jesus, that's a good... He lived in Maud Gunn's house out there.
Oh, sorry. Okay, right. Yeah.
And he...
And didn't pay rent, apparently.
And didn't pay rent.
He
And
probably had some family out there. It's like
Like, he
honestly,
probably
that's a
had
great question because I feel like we didn't clarify that at all. He's from Dublin, but he spent... Yeah, so his mom's side of the family, the Pollocks Finn, their ancestral home is in Merville, Sligo. So he would have spent a lot of time there as a kid, and then he moved into Gon's house.
Right.
So he's connected to Sligo. But
Yeah, and Sligo have done their very best with that connection.
exactly. They've,
Yeah.
certainly milked that.
don't
Drop
start,
the
don't
fascism
start talking
stuff.
shit about
No, not
Sligo
talking.
before
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
That's
So,
a compliment.
It is a compliment. Now, anyone who's booking...
pin time.
If anyone's booking gigs in Sligo and they're looking forward to Shannon's show, you can turn off the episode now, all right? Because now we're heading into conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
The conspiracy side of this. We're going back to the pin. There's a
Oh,
legend.
this is the pin time. Oh, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Is this okay? Yeah.
a legend that the body that's buried in Sligo that you would have seen is not Yeats at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story.
Just a goat.
It's just a goat.
It's just a goat.
It seems to be a goat's testicle. That's actually ruled out, funnily enough. So he's exhumed in France in 1946 because the plot that he was buried in had only been paid for 5 years.
Right.
Because the plan was to send it back to Sligo after whatever.
Okay.
So he's moved from there to an ossuary, which is basically just a mass grave. So when it comes time to move his body back to Ireland, they have no idea which bodies it is.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
There's also during World War II, I think there was some other alternative. Well, for whatever reason, where he ends up gets dug up and he gets just thrown in with a load of other bones. It's a funny, it's a funny kind of a conspiracy thing to say that he's not buried there and it plays Sligo for fools. But like, surely the Irish government would not let that happen. Like, he's one of their biggest playwrights.
But how would they know?
Well, but they put more effort into like making sure that it was him and that it went
fair.
smoothly. I think that's a good bit of evidence against it. But the only thing is that the minister who was responsible for getting Yeats's body back would have been the Minister for Foreign Affairs,
Right.
who was at that time a man called Sean McBride, who was
he it?
John McBride's son.
Was he?
Yeah.
No, he actually was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
So the guy who was in charge, Minister for Foreign Affairs at the time, was in charge of repatriating this guy.
Right.
Hated Yeats.
Hated
Because
you.
Yeats called his dad, vainglorious drunkard.
Yeah.
And maybe, tried to bang his mom.
Yes.
And tried to bang his, half, or his stepsister.
yeah.
Yeah. So he would have maybe
There's what's the word I'm looking for? There is
Motive.
Yeah, there's motive.
The motive there probably.
Probably.
He's Magon's son. He
Yeah.
hates the guy. So there was some French documents released in 2015 that from the time that were going between the French diplomats and McBride, and it basically said just find a skeleton that looks like Yeats. Both sides just decided to say nothing to avoid the embarrassment.
Skeleton definitely fucked.
Like,
Yeah.
this skeleton looks like he's cast a spell or two.
The French government, they had a couple of things on their plate after World War II. They're like, we're not getting into a fight with Ireland over the fuck. Just send some bones, and we'll call it a day. Obviously, you could do a DNA test and figure this out now, but the Sligo Tourism Board
Would not like that.
yeah, the gravesite is like mentioned on their website. It's a big tourist attraction. They don't really want to.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, they don't want to jeopardize
But
Springfield.
I will say this, like, just to counter maybe the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't, like, if you were trying to get the bones of W.B. Yeats, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't, like, and you'd imagine they'd do their absolute best to make sure it was Yeats, because they couldn't foresee that maybe, like, the tourist attraction or like that it would be.
But he's a big writer at the time.
To be.
But even one of the very few Irish playwrights of the new nation. Like he's heavily
I think he was
involved.
instrumental. I think he would have been a really big deal. But I'd say, like, what I'm saying is that, like, the tourist part, I'd say, could be seen as a way of, like, taking away from the legitimacy of it, because you go, oh, they wouldn't have foreseen it to be.
They wouldn't have foreseen tourism as a concept in general.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So I think, like, they were trying to look after him, like, as a legitimate artist at the time.
Yeah, sure.
And a part of Irish new history
Yeah.
as a
But if that job falls to a lad who, even if before you get
now,
to the stage
that's where everything I just said falls apart.
But even though, take out the fact that he hates him, that this whole history and all of that. If that job just falls to a lad who's like,
you rode me, ma.
no, if it just goes to a lad who just doesn't do his job 100%,
Yeah.
that's every single lad who's ever done a job. So
Yeah.
you're kind of like, that's just it. They're probably not his boat.
There is more evidence that people that were with him at the time maintained that it wasn't his bones, because it didn't. He had goat balls, and there's like they
just had two horns in his skull. Little goat horns. Like, that's not him.
That's not him. There is more evidence. But
Let's just say he's real, and everyone in Sligo is dead right.
Yeah. He may or may not be buried there.
Hey, look, if he's not there, you go down to his grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a cape.
With a cake.
I'll
Take
do a
him up.
seance. We'll do a seance after the gig.
Yeah. He says it's him.
Yeah.
He says he's in there. Go home.
Just what's his name? Was it
Yates.
no, Al fucking
Great.
just Leo Africanus. It's like, it's me, bitch. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I've been here.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's your hero, Yates. Now, we skipped over his brother is a painter.
I heard his family are all like the way I heard, they're all like artists who actually made a living. And
Jack Yates is one of the first people to win an Olympic medal for Ireland. He won the Olympic medal in painting. Yeah. For the painting Liffey Swim, which is in the back of the halfpenny.
oh.
But
They don't know how he kept the canvas dry in the act of it. But
and
He seems not as fun as
if
I don't know is it still there.
If WB wasn't his brother, he'd be like,
yeah.
He's more. I went to see. I don't know is it still in the gallery, but his paintings were there a while ago, and some of them are very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's respected.
I really
Yeah.
like. He's really. There's one in particular. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember properly being. I think it was in the middle of lockdown as well. And I was like, fucking hell.
Wow, outside.
Art. It was a painting of him at a bench, and it's after his wife has died.
Yeah.
And there's a light in the distance, but it's shrouded by trees because the light's gone out in his life and it won't ever come back.
See, that's more poetic than anything that we've said about W.D.
Yeah,
Yeats this whole 2 hours.
Yeah, and then Jack went and tried to bang his wife.
Yeah, Jack was like, how's your daughter? I mean, my daughter. No, that's word.
Yeah. He tried to bang his wife's sister. But he's a famous...
Sewage, you must be very cut up about the passing of William.
How are you getting on, George?
Taking up the family tradition of just cracking on to Monk I wrote some. Do you know any of the? Yeah, Sailing to Byzantium's another one of his famous poems.
I know the names of his poems. If you say them, I'd be like, oh, I recognize that. There's one about. Is that one about daffodils? Is that one of his?
No,
No,
that's
who's that?
Wordsworth.
All right, no.
You just pick a famous poem.
Yeah, dude. Poetry isn't really my bag.
No, bags are your bag.
Yeah, no, like
New
wizards.
roads diverged.
Wizard.
Yellow daffodil.
Wizards. Like that's my bag.
Yeah.
Wizards, and
That's fair.
I enjoy that immensely.
Yeah. That's
Like-
a good. There's very little. I remember reading through that whole story. I knew very little of that.
Like that is the stuff.
They hide those bits.
They do.
shouldn't.
He shows up. He's probably not on the Leaving Cert every year, but he was when we were doing it.
I
it's just like,
don't think he
here's a
was when I
poem.
was doing it. No.
Yeah.
He's in the Young Indiana Jones, The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, in the episode they come to Ireland.
That's true,
Oh.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's he meets Sean O'Casey, the bit you skipped over in the script there.
Yeah.
Because I saw, I've got my glasses on, I could read Sean O'Casey.
Okay.
No, he meets Sean O'Casey. Yeah, when he sets up the theater.
But in the
I skipped the bits of the documentary that we watched, which was the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
he's great.
Yeah,
Great show.
Fantastic.
Indiana Jones punches
Sean Lamass, future
Sean
president
Lamass,
of Ireland,
yeah.
Sean Lamass.
sparks
And
him
then-
out because he's trying to bang his sister.
But then Sean
It's a great
Lamass wants
show.
to fight him because he doesn't want to ride his sister anymore.
Much like the
And then
Much
they,
like the John McBride. Yeah.
This was the John
so
McBride,
then they
yeah.
fight each other, and then they realize, what are we fighting over anyway? Your sisters are hard. So they go and they get on bikes and cycle around.
Oh, harlot's
and
a
then
great
go,
word.
Yeah.
Harlot's a great word.
It's a great show, but
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
he
the point where they're all like in the 1916, right? Like the lads are getting executed.
yeah
And they're having to come to young Indy and be like, you'll never guess who died. All the names you can't remember because we all seem the same to you.
yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, it's any other
Do we do a wrap up?
points. Wrap up. WB Yeats water is a thing now since we did this.
Oh, I've
episode.
seen that. Yeah.
And it seems like it should be a series of water.
They're
Everyone's named after a different artist or whatever. It's just him.
and they're a bastard to open.
Yeah, it's a stupid.
They're
carton
really
of
hard
water.
to open.
No.
Huh? They've been around
They're
for years.
like
couple of years.
recyclable.
Yeah,
You know, there's nothing.
it's
magical.
just WB Yeats water. The
Yeah.
man has nothing to do, as far as I understand, with water.
No.
They're the ones you can buy in the airport.
Oh, yeah. I got them. You get them in theaters as well.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's
Free water
Yeats.
at the airport.
Yeah, the free water at the airport.
Yeah,
But it's Yeats water.
it's Yeats water.
Um,
You'll be able to
They're
ride
all-
well into your 70s.
All of the other fucking writers got their own like whiskies and gins.
yeah,
Like,
I don't
they
feel
all
it.
have their
To be-
own
have you
fucking
seen how
individual
mad
one
Yeats
for
is?
tourists. And then
Yeah.
the Yates are like, what can we get him?
I don't think he needed alcohol.
Oh,
No,
Like,
they
he
definitely
do-
didn't.
He was
Well, do you
mad
know
for-
what? He would be better off with a little bit of alcohol.
Like, because you know of all the stories of all the tortured artists and Irish ones about being like just absolute whiskey
You
hounds.
said he wasn't a tortured artist.
No,
he put
like,
a goat ball in
Yeah,
his
no,
sack.
but a lot of that was self-inflicted, which I know is a lot of the Irish artists with alcohol. But he seemed like, well, apart from when he was eating pellets.
Yeah, he was on
Yeah.
another plane as it was.
Yeah.
the
He didn't need it.
No.
No, I think the last quote I'd written into the original one was there's an article from a 26-year-old Sally Rooney,
Oh,
where she talks about how much she hates Yeats. But she wrote, a lot of his poems are not very good, but some are obviously okay. But how has this become the sort of emblem of literary Irishness when he was this horrible man? He was a huge fan of Mussolini. He was really into fascism. He believed deeply in the idea of a noble class who were superior by birth to the plebs. And he was in the Senate. And I remember finding that article because it's obviously before she gets famous for normal people. But it's just linked. It's just the Irish subreddit just tearing her apart. Like, who's this fucking dumb
Yeah.
bitch talking about our hero?
but she's
So
like,
they obviously identify more with a weird virgin wizard man
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
into
they-
the occult. They're like,
It's
don't you talk about our hero like that. I didn't realize he was a poet. I just know him from his earlier work.
It's weird,
Trying
'cause
to hit on children.
Shannon Basso Gaule will be playing the Sligo Hawkswell Theatre.
the Hawkswell here in Sligo. And come,
Before we started
I'm doing
talking.
my hour. It's called Go Balls Wearing a Cape. Morgan, why won't you ride me? No, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Yeah, lost in translation. I think Kev wants to open for me.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It'll be good.
he'll come
Yeah.
and we'll have lots of fun.
Yeah.
And I'll do this down the camera. Please come.
Yes.
This probably won't be going out.
It
This
will.
bit. No,
Yeah.
but this bit on the camera.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
maybe. No.
No, probably not. No.
But do it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Please come to my show.
Yeah.
All right.
Hawkswell that ends well.
Oh, there we go. That's brilliant.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, goodbye.
Chapter.
Good luck.
Christ, is it 8 o'clock?